Hello and welcome to Dead History. Today, we're diving into a conflict that is shaping our world in real time. The war between Ukraine and Russia. Its roots run deep into history, its impact is felt globally, and its story is still being written. To understand the present, we have to look back to where it began. Our story starts in early 2014. Ukraine was in turmoil. Following massive protests, the country's pro-Russian president was ousted. In the chaos that followed, Russia made a swift move, annexing the Crimean Peninsula. Almost simultaneously in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, a different kind of fire was lit. Armed conflict broke out between Ukrainian forces and Russia-backed separatists. What began as a simmering regional conflict was about to boil over. Fast forward to February 24, 2022, the world woke up to shocking news. Russia had launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. It was a massive, multi-pronged attack. Troops poured in from the north, through Belarus, from the east, out of Russia itself, and from the south, out of occupied Crimea. This marked the beginning of the largest conventional war on European soil since the end of World War II. In those first terrifying hours, missiles rained down on cities across Ukraine. Air raid sirens became the new, horrifying soundtrack of daily life. As Russian ground forces advanced, ordinary civilians found themselves on the front lines of a brutal, modern war. The international community watched, stunned, as a sovereign nation fought for its very survival. Many experts predicted a swift collapse, that Kyiv would fall in days, but that's not what happened. What unfolded instead was one of the most remarkable stories of national resistance in recent history. The Ukrainian people, their armed forces, and their government stood firm, and the world responded. A wave of global support brought humanitarian aid, advanced military equipment, and crippling international sanctions against Russia. Let's break down some of the war's major phases. First, there was the initial invasion from February to March 2022. Russian forces made a lightning dash for the capital, Kyiv, and other major cities like Kharkiv. But they were met with ferocious Ukrainian resistance that slowed, stalled, and ultimately repelled their advance on the capital. The battle for Kyiv was a decisive early victory for Ukraine. With the northern front stalled, the conflict shifted gears. The focus moved to the east, to the Donbas region, transforming into a brutal, high-intensity war of attrition throughout 2022 and 2023. This phase was defined by relentless artillery duels and fierce, grinding battles for every town and village, a stark throwback to the trench warfare of the past. But Ukraine wasn't just defending. Towards the end of 2022, they launched a stunning counteroffensive in the south, focusing on the strategically vital Kherson region. In a major strategic and symbolic victory, Ukrainian forces pushed the Russian army back, liberating the city of Kherson, the only regional capital Russia had managed to capture since the full-scale invasion began. The consequences of this war are staggering, and we are only beginning to grasp their full scale. Let's start with the human cost, which is immense. Tens of thousands of civilians have been killed or wounded. Millions have been forced to flee their homes, becoming refugees or internally displaced people. The fabric of Ukrainian society has been torn apart. Economically, the blow has been devastating. One estimate suggests that Ukraine's economy shrank by nearly a third in 2022 alone. Cities have been leveled, infrastructure destroyed, and livelihoods obliterated. As for territorial changes, Russia currently occupies a significant portion of Ukraine's land, roughly one-fifth by some estimates, including areas in the east and south. The war's shockwaves have spread far beyond the battlefield, reshaping the entire global landscape. Europe's security architecture, which had been stable for decades, has been completely upended. Energy markets have been thrown into turmoil, global food supply chains have been disrupted, and new international alliances have been forged while old ones have been tested. One of the most troubling aspects of this conflict has been the tactics employed. We've witnessed deliberate and systematic attacks on civilian infrastructure power grids, hospitals, schools, and apartment buildings. These actions raise profound questions under international humanitarian law and paint a grim picture of the nature of 21st century warfare. So, why does this all matter so much to us, no matter where we live? Because this isn't just a war between two countries. It's a conflict that challenges the very foundations of the post-Cold War international order. It puts the principle of national sovereignty to the ultimate test. It forces us to ask, how should the world respond when one country invades its neighbor? This war also provides a raw, unfiltered look at how modern conflict devastates civilian lives. Beyond the grand geopolitical strategies are real people, real families whose worlds have been destroyed. The destruction of cities, the displacement of millions, and the deep, lasting trauma will take generations to heal. As we look to the future, the path forward is shrouded in uncertainty. Will Ukraine be able to reclaim all of its sovereign territory? Is a negotiated peace possible? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a long, frozen conflict? Most analysts agree that a clear end is not yet in sight and that this could become a protracted, grueling struggle. The task of rebuilding Ukraine will be monumental, costing hundreds of billions of dollars, but the human rebuilding, healing the wounds of a nation will be an even longer and more difficult journey. So, what are the key takeaways for us? First, history matters. The choices made by leaders and nations echo for generations, and understanding the past is crucial to navigating the present. Second, the human element is paramount. Behind the headlines and maps are individual lives, stories of loss, courage, and resilience. And third, awareness matters. To be responsible global citizens, we must engage with the facts and seek to understand the complexities of conflicts like this one. Thank you for joining us on Dead History. If you found this exploration insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into our world's complex past and present. Until next time, keep questioning, because to shape a better future, we must first understand our past.